Hey crew, I've got the key to this 25 Ford F-150 Raptor R. And this week, we're gonna see what it's like to live with. I'm gonna start with remote start. And that thunderous V8 has come to life and will almost surely send a shiver through the spine of very nearby neighbors, but fortunately, my neighbors and I are on good terms. Now, this week is going to be rather rainy, but as you can see from the plastered dirt on the grill, I did already take it off-road. You'll see that later in this video, and it was mostly in the dry, though we did go through a couple puddles. Let's check out the spacing in my driveway, which is 16 feet wide by 19.5 feet long. The Raptor tire is very close to the edge, back end just sneaking inside of the hedge towards the garage door side of my driveway. And this is parked next to a new Nissan Rogue that my wife is reviewing. If you want to check out her content, it's at Mobile Mama on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. She's done a fine job parking that. And so with that spacing, you can sneak between the vehicles. Power folding door mirrors did help with that. With the truck being this dirty, you definitely don't want to rub up against it. We couldn't get a wagon or double stroller through for our kiddos though. The front end of this truck is hovering over the gutter, and at the back, as you might expect, there is definitely not enough room to walk in front of the hedge on the path to my front door. When first getting inside with the key fob on me, I can put my hand on either of the front two door handles to unlock all four doors, or I could leave the key inside the truck and use this keypad system so I can do activities without carrying around that key. Opening up that door, that's the first defined notch, and you know what? I could get in pretty easily this way, just putting my foot on the step and using this grab handle to hop on inside. Closing up that door, nice thud. Hey cabin crew, thanks for joining for this day in the life in the 25 F-150 Raptor R. In this video, I want to see what it's like to live with one of the most burly production pickup trucks you can buy. Before I can go anywhere, I do need to put my foot on the brake and hit the stop-start button, which is going to turn on some cool animations, and we'll hear from some very loud chimes. And what the remote start has done is brought the cabin up to a nice warm temperature, whereas outside it's pretty chilly. I even have the seat heater going for me and the heated leather-wrapped steering wheel. I also want to show you where I place the items I bring with me every day, like my iPhone, which is sitting on this wireless charging pad, and it just appears to be the perfect size for my 17 Pro. If you've got a bigger phone, that might be an issue. Inside the console, you've got multiple layers of storage. On the top level, I've got just a granola bar here and the pin keys for my trailer hitch. And down low, I've got my Racebox 0 to 60 timer and GoPro accessory case. There's a lot more room inside for bigger items too. In the door, I have my 32-ounce metal water bottle and an umbrella. So yes, as you might expect, full-size pickup truck, there's ample room for all the goodies you want to bring with you. Oh, almost forgot, there's even sunglass storage up above with padding to protect those lenses. All right, gonna throw on my seatbelt now before I pull the gear selector back into drive, and then I'm going to manually release that electronic parking brake, roll on forward here, and flick up the windshield wipers once. Now it is trash day, so I'm not sure if I'm going to clear all these cans, but I will do my best, and I'm going to bring up the camera system to see how close I'm gonna get before I need to hit the brakes, then go into reverse, back it on up, down into drive, and away we go. It does not take long to get comfortable in the Raptor R. First off, the seats, these Recaro buckets with leather and suede, are very well padded, and yet they hold me snugly in place, and the suede does grip in to my clothes. So, as we'll see off-road, I'm not getting bounced around too much. And if it were summer, then when I did remote start, the cabin would have cooled down with air conditioning and my ventilated seat would have turned on. And one thing that makes a big truck like this feel more like a custom fit is how many different ways you can adjust your seating position. You've got, of course, the seat slide forward or backward, the back angle, the tilt and telescope of the power adjusting steering column, and then furthermore, you've got pedal adjustments. So if you're like me, you've got a longer torso, but maybe not as long proportionally of legs, you can bring those pedals to you, or if you're a long-legged individual, you can push them further in. It is very helpful to feel like you've got a good center of command with a truck like this, because it's 6.5 feet wide. If you're not paying full attention, or maybe on a rain-slick day like today, you didn't carefully pick up where the lane markings are, you can easily move your way over if you don't have the lane keep assist feature turned on, which I do because it'll nudge me back in gently. It's not abrasive with the correction. Fortunately, this 5.2 liter supercharged V8 with 720 horsepower is much more manageable than you might expect. I've got the truck in the normal drive mode and I'm rocking in 2-wheel drive high because I'm not really worried about breaking traction in this level of downpour. And I'm just feathering the throttle and it's maintaining velocity easily. Put a little bit more in terms of throttle pressure and it picks up speed gradually. There's that supercharger whine kicking in. And of course, at any point in time, you can mat the throttle and things will get crazy, but it doesn't need to be. When it comes to a vehicle of such significant dimensions, you may be concerned with the around town maneuverability. So let's test out the turning radius and listen to the turn signal sound, which, at least against the backdrop of falling rain, is pretty mellow. Now for that U-turn, I've got the room over here, so I'm gonna jog right in the intersection before cranking that wheel. How many lanes am I going to need? Not even any of the bike lane. That's incredible. This monster truck is maneuverable. I'd also like to award points for the braking feel. There's a perfect sensitivity to that pedal. I know just how much pressure is required to slow down smoothly, and then the power away is pleasant and plentiful. Let's pause for a moment now so I can grab a cup of coffee here at True Brew. That does mean I'll need to park this barge, and I could do what that Ram has done, just go to the very end of the lot if there's room around, but sometimes that's not possible. So let's just pretend I have to get into this spot here. It's the only one, somehow. Let's go into reverse, bring up that high-res camera. It is smudged by a lot of water though. I've got trajectory lines there and a bird's eye view. See if I can't get this in one go here. Door mirrors are not that big, I'll be honest. Parking sensors already upset. Let's line up straight. Scoot on back. Now they're telling me to call it queues. I think we've done it, folks. Decaf coffee has been acquired. Oh, and in case you're curious, this is how much room the Raptor R takes up in the average parking spot. We've got maybe 5 or 6 inches on this side, and maybe 8 or 9 on this side. It works. I am gonna go move this truck now though, because I wanna get a better look at the full exterior. This is going to be a balancing act though. I'm not sure which hand to hold the coffee and which to hold the door. Okay, here we go. Can't go to the second notch, still has to be the first. Step up, switch hands, bring coffee in, we're doing well, into one of 2 cup holders and it holds it securely. Then, oh, this is real world right here. Okay, the umbrella broke, everyone. We're moving on. Right, so given the rain, wind, and broken umbrella, probably isn't the best time to talk about the exterior, but let's do it anyway, why not? The Ford logo is spelled out here with a textured finish. The 3 marker lights are federally mandated because the truck is so wide. When you see the red tow hooks and red R badges, you know it's got that supercharged V8. There is some skid plate protection underneath, which I will use off-roading. Got those projector LED headlights and these Rigid Industries fog lights. The truck looks very cool, very imposing, even when the styling is more subdued in this agate black metallic paint. I think this truck looks best in the dark green color. At the side, we've got a set of 17-inch beadlock capable wheels wrapped in BF Goodrich KO2 all-terrain tires, 37 inches, look mega. Looking at the profile, this truck is almost 20 feet long, and it's only offered in this full crew cab configuration. Showed the metal side steps earlier. It's got just under a 6-foot bed. LED taillights back here, Ford stamped out on the tailgate, still caked on with dirt. Raptor R badge and dual giant blacked out exhaust ports, full-size spare tire up underneath. The tailgate is power down and power up with a little assist from the knee. And this one has the optional spray-in bed liner, which honestly, why wouldn't you put that in your truck? Today, let's test the practicality with a Costco run to benefit the charity Families Forward. I am loaded up again for a good cause. And because it's such a chilly, rainy day, I want to warm up the cabin. This is not because I want to hear the V8, not at all. This is totally necessary, I promise. I'm not even gonna mess with the bed today because I don't want this stuff to get soaked. So I'm going straight to the cab where there is so much room, and I can make even more by lifting up the seat bottoms. I can also make a separate storage area for loose items. Lift this up and lock these pieces in place. Now let's get to work. Now, this is a tall truck, but lifting heavy items up and into the cab is still lower than in the bed. And with this all-weather floor mat, they may not slide easily, but once they're there, they're not gonna move. This is just too easy. I've already swallowed up most of this cart's goods and haven't even made a dent in this cabin. I'm depressed. What's the point of being good at Costco Tetris if you can just throw things in and be fine? Unless you're buying enough stuff for an NFL team, the cabin is all you're gonna need for Costco. It fits. Whee! Now, after returning my cart like a responsible shopper, I can confirm that the Ford F-150 Raptor R is Costco approved. Look at this baddie who rolled up in this cabbie. Mobile Mama is joining me for today's outing. Where we are, this is so exciting. We're going bed shopping.
Whoa! Which is funny because we have a truck bed. Not that bed shopping.
Not that bed shopping. We have a bed attached to this.
Shopping.
Actually, speaking of beds, I feel like a cab is so large. It's almost like an 18-wheeler with a sleeper with a bed actually in it. It feels like it's that much space.
Yeah, it's huge.
But we do actually need a bed because our Costco mattress. Sorry, Costco. You know I only like saying nice things about you, but in this case,
broke your heart.
Sealy, not the right mattresses to be stocking there because ours has just fallen apart on the sides. It's not a taco bed, like we're not sloping towards one another.
We're just falling off, slowly going away from each other.
Avalanche away.
It's not what you want.
So we need a new bed. And if this were 15 years ago, we wouldn't have to go bed shopping because my dad was a mattress manufacturer. He made beds for hotels and individuals, but he is retired. So we have to actually go on the hunt. And
we are picky.
We are very picky.
But you know what? I'm picky in many areas, but I like this. I like this truck.
Same.
It's beautiful. I like this suede, this red stitching, red little accents over there. You've got leather, more suede up here, carbon fiber.
There's a hidden V8 in the red perforation.
Hidden V8.
Okay. You wouldn't notice it unless you were looking from the driver door. It's pretty cool.
You know what's also cool? This table here. That folds flat.
Yes.
Because this goes down when you're in park.
Yeah, when I'm parked, I hit that button, it folds flat. This comes out. You got a work surface. Very exciting.
This screen is a bit slow to respond.
Yeah.
So I do like the mixture of you got the buttons down here and the screen.
Yes.
But I just wish the screen was a bit faster.
Yeah, the knobs and buttons do make it intuitive, but the screen could be quicker. The seats, though.
Oh, I was just
going
to mention, so good, and they're heated and ventilated.
Yes.
Are they massaging? No.
They're not massaging.
They're not.
That would be nice.
That would just be next level.
Next level. You got that in the F-250. Remember the F-250 Platinum?
Yeah.
And that massage
Let's
feature?
do that.
It was so good. The ride is fantastic, though. It goes with the
smooth.
cushy seats.
I know.
The Fox Live valves, yes, they're amazing off-road, which we will get to shortly, but on-road, they just give you this compliance over bumps and ruts and things like that. You wouldn't expect them to be as well suited on-road as they are off-road. You think they have to withstand the harsh impacts off-road, but then on-road maybe they'd be too firm. Not the case. They're supple on the road and amazing off-road.
Supple!
Oh my God. Oh, you don't like supple?
And you said it so loud.
Wait, hang on. If I do it more gently, supple.
Well, I never do it to describe a seat.
Supple seat, supple ride. Supple, why are you crossing in front of me? You almost got shmacked. We're at a light, so I can do it. Into park.
Do it.
Hit the button, and then move your phone. Get out of here. Then move your phone. Work surface. Mobile Mama has teleported away from me. Was it something I said?
Maybe.
Probably. What's your legroom situation back there since you're sitting in the rear?
Fantastic.
Yeah?
Yes.
You know, these seats are heated as well?
Yes. Are all three or just the outboard seats? 'Cause
Outboard.
I sat in the
Outboard.
middle.
So you chose the
Great.
non-heated seat?
Wonderful.
Good for you.
On
You have
this
vents
chilly
back
day.
there too?
Vents, AC outlet, USBs,
Good.
DC outlet,
Okay.
cup holders.
Yeah? And
Packets.
are they as cushy?
Storage packets.
Are they as squishy and comfortable? As supple, one might
I
say?
wouldn't say, oh gosh. I don't like the middle seat. The side outboard seats are fantastic.
Could you not fit 3 car seats across?
Oh, you definitely could.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
All right. That is all. You can stay back
Don't
there if you
get
want.
any
I got all the
ideas.
information I wanted. No, we're good with 2. I got all the information I needed out of you, so let's go shop for some beds.
Whoa, yeah.
Now it's finally time to crack into the performance of the Raptor R. We're gonna start with a real-world 0 to 60 test, but before I do it on the road, let's try it off-road. Here we go, loose dirt. I'm in the Baja drive mode and I'm just gonna pin it. Wow. And get to 60 in 5.80 seconds. Now let's compare that to the street. All right, 4-wheel drive high, sport drive mode, pinning it. And hitting 60 in 3.73 seconds. This truck is quick on any surface. But now, let's jump back to more good stuff off-road. This is a good time to mention that if you haven't seen my adventure video with the Raptor R, 4Runner TRD Pro, G63, Kawasaki, Honda, and Can-Am side-by-sides, you'll want to take a look. Right now, we're in 4-wheel drive high. I'm not really even gonna mess with 2-wheel drive, not because I'm not interested in sliding the back end around, but because you can't actually lock up the differential in the rear drive mode. So if you're gonna do the drifting, then you're probably gonna wear out the rear brakes. And I would like to avoid that for Ford's sake. So we're still gonna have a lot of fun in 4 drive high. And for our drive mode, I'm not even gonna mess around with normal or anything like that. I'm gonna switch over into the Baja mode because, well, we're in sort of a Baja environment. And that is going to perk up throttle response quite a bit and loosen up traction control. This truck is working with the Fox live valve internal bypass shocks. And with the 37-inch tires, we've got 14.1 inches of rear wheel travel. We've got 13.1 inches of ground clearance. It just absorbs washboard surfaces effortlessly. It doesn't really matter what level of dips you're working your way through. Faced head on, at an angle, you just power through comfortably and confidently. Brakes are good too, thankfully. It feels unstoppable. Honestly, I just look at any obstacle and go, yeah, we'll make it over that. This is just crazy. Oh, and the power is intoxicating, my friends. You want to use it every chance you get. Like now. And you're kind of just praying for air. You're like, come on, just give me a good bump. I want to get lift off. Because when you touch back down, you do so softly, pleasantly. What a truck. I mean, I've driven the TRX, the RHO, of course the Silverado ZR2, which doesn't even compete with its DSSV spool valve dampers. They're way too firm. Nothing handles off-road like this. It's a monster. Spot a bit of water now. Splash a bit of mud on the side. Yeehaw! Oh my gosh. I would love to finish this one off with a jump, but I don't have an air compressor to air the tires back up after I air them down. So instead, I'll point you to a video when I had the 700 horsepower version of the Raptor R, and I did take a big jump, and it handled it beautifully. Oh my. How does this truck land so well? Instead, today, let's just go fast. Yeehaw! Oh. Oh, the sound, it takes over. So good. On my way home now from my adventure weekend, I'm towing with the Raptor R. You can see the Honda Talon back there in the rear view, or monitor it on the bed cam. You can also see it's filled with spare lumber from our campfires and fuel and the Max tracks I brought along with us. And I also have the cab filled with my camping gear. But this truck does not seem to mind the additional roughly 4,000 pounds it's lugging. When you put your foot down, you can make those passes for traffic that's joining the highway, or in some cases, I was getting around a semi-truck, steep inclines, not an issue at all. You don't even feel that weight behind me. And in the tow haul mode, the truck is keeping everything stable. And I also have adaptive cruise control going here, so I can maintain a gap to a vehicle in front of me. It also has lane keep assist, but you can't turn on the lane trace assist, the lane centering system, like you can when you're not towing something. Boy, this is a comfortable way to cover some ground. And every time I do get around slower moving vehicles, I've got this blind spot camera to show me that the lane is clear, which is great when you've got an additional 10, 15, 20 feet behind you. It's also reasonably quiet inside this cabin, even while towing. And on an incline where that supercharged V8 is churning away, getting into the throttle, doesn't make too much noise. Tire hum from the 37s isn't bad either. Can hear the passing traffic, more so with big semis as well. But then everything settles back down. This is pretty well insulated for how rugged this truck is. If I'd rather listen to some music, there's a standard Bang & Olufsen sound system, and wireless Apple CarPlay is going right now for navigation. It doesn't take over the whole screen though, it just stops right there. So the icons aren't quite as large. It responds reasonably well enough though. I'm gonna find the playlist I'm looking for here. There we are. Now I'll use the physical volume knob to turn up to about 65% right there. That is a fantastic sound system. It completely canceled out all the outside noise, tire hum, engine rumble, all of that, and it delivered this excellent balance across the range. The highs and mids were clear. It came in with a nice hit of bass. I love this system. It's just about time to refuel this 36-gallon tank, and the Raptor R is EPA rated at 10 mpg in the city, 15 on the highway, and 12 combined, which would give us a fuel range of about 430 miles. During my time with the truck, 349 miles, including all that off-road fun and towing, I've averaged 10 miles per gallon. Better than I expected. And at current fuel prices of $4.69 for the required 91 octane gas, it's gonna cost me about $169 to fill this tank, but there's capless fueling to save me time. Well, crew, at the beginning of this video, I pondered what it would be like to live with one of the toughest trucks on sale. And after quality time spent behind the wheel, I can only wish that everyone had a spare $113,000 to daily drive this awesome pickup. The look is cool, the cabin is comfortable, the ride is pleasant, and it is, of course, tremendously practical. Sure, there's a lot to appreciate about this truck on-road, but just wait until you tread off-road to savor the capability and laugh out loud fun. Towing is a cinch and seems to bear minimal impact on the admittedly terrible fuel economy. It is a giant machine, so yes, driving and parking take a little more focus, but it's also remarkably maneuverable. Go anywhere, do anything comfortably, and with an unbreakable grin. I hope you guys have enjoyed this day in the life, and I will see you again next time.